Okay, let's work through this CVP target income multiple choice question, and let's explain why the third answer, or the third choice, is the correct choice and not the first one. So here's an example. We've got an example here that you can see, and we'll assume that sales were 3 million, and we got that by taking 200,000 times $15. $15 would be the sale price per unit. I've assumed the variable costs are $8 per unit, so 8 times 200,000 gets you $1.6 million. When we subtract the $1.6 million of variable cost from the sales, we get a contribution margin of $1.4 million. Now, contribution margin per unit you would calculate by taking the contribution margin and divide it by the units sold. So that comes up to be $7 per unit. And contribution margin ratio you would calculate by taking the contribution margin dollars and divide it by sales. That comes out to be about 46 2/3% or 46.67%. I've assumed fixed costs are 500,000, and this company in whatever period is provided had net income of 900,000. Now let's assume there's a target income of $1 million. So let's tackle the first one. And the first multiple choice question says, how do we get to required sales if we use fixed cost plus target net income, and that's supposed to read divided by contribution margin per unit? All right, so look at my formula here. What you can see is I take the value in C19, that's the fixed cost, plus the target net income of $1 million, add that together and divide it by the contribution margin per unit. Okay, that comes out to be at $7. And the answer says, well, if we use this, the required sales to achieve this would be 214,286. Well, we know that can't be the case because fixed costs alone are 500,000. So let's use the third way, the third choice, which is fixed cost plus target net income divided by contribution margin ratio. So now we take the fixed costs and the desired net income, or the target net income, and we divide it by the value of what's sitting in C18, which is the contribution margin ratio. When we do that, we get 3,214,286. Well, let's see if that works. Let's make sales 3,214,286. Let me make this wide enough so we can see the column here. And then we could calculate the contribution margin directly by taking that sales amount times the contribution margin ratio, and we come up with $1,550,000. The fixed costs were 500,000. Therefore, if we cut this down, we see that sure enough we hit the target net income of $1 million. Okay, I hope that was helpful.